we can implement reforms to save taxpayer dollars. This is not a new idea. You had a Byrd committee post-World War II that looked at what were programs that were unauthorized, what were programs that were no longer needed, and cut those out of the budget. So I think this is a great idea as we go forward. Now, what's interesting is you have a lot of people kind of clamoring to be part of DOGE, if you will, but they're also some of the biggest spenders in Congress. And so there's going to have to be a reckoning there of, well, if you're in line with DOGE and the idea of cutting the budget, then you've actually got to vote to cut the budget. And so here we are on the eve of Christmas, and we're going to vote to spend billions of dollars going into March at the same time when we're talking about DOGE. There's an irony there, and it's going to be a big Christmas gift to the Biden administration as we continue to fund at the Biden woke levels.
What are your thoughts about the whole creation of this DOGE? I mean, I'm seeing the left just have an absolute meltdown over it. How dare he? What are your thoughts on it?
Well, you know, we're barreling towards 36, soon to be $37 trillion in debt. We've got to do something, right? And so if we can get some good ideas from the private sector, from individuals like Elon Musk, from Vivek Ramaswamy, both innovators, both successful in their own right, I mean, why wouldn't you want that type of input? Ultimately, in the House of Representatives, we would have to legislate any type of recommendations they make. But look, keep in mind that less than 6% of federal workers are actually showing up for work. I've got a bill that would require them to come back to work if they want to qualify for full-time status. If they want to get their health insurance, their butt's going to have to be in the chair in an office, and they're going to have to do their jobs. And my bill would require that they would have to have permission from the secretary to do remote work, and then that list would be sent quarterly to Congress, not to be ratified, but simply so that it's public information. We've got to create accountability with our federal workers. Look, I understand there's some roles that may require telework, but not 94% of roles.
Yeah, right. Think about that. We're here in the studio at 7 a.m.
at 6.
Right. This is true, and up at 3:30. So there you have it, government workers. Elon Musk, as we know, is the richest man in the world, and he's known for big thinking. That's how he got that money. Under DOGE, right, he's reportedly looking to cut $2 trillion in federal spending. Do you have any idea what departments would be closed under his ideas forthcoming?
Well, where I would start would be the Department of Education. When you look at any metric when it comes to the Department of education system in this country is an absolute failure. I think we need to block grant those monies back to the state. We can cut a lot of overhead because their ability to implement teaching isn't working. Keep in mind, that's not a constitutional department. It's not required. It's not mandated. So you literally could cut that right away and save a lot of money. But look, we all know there's waste, there's abuse, there's fraud in every department. You have the State Department that hasn't had an audit or passed an audit in almost a decade. Like, these types of things have to stop. We've got to have accountability. And look, we all know that the U.S. credit card is about to be maxed out. We can't continue to spend money at this pace. We can't continue to spend money without accountability. So by cutting the Department of Education, cutting the waste out of the Pentagon or the FBI or any other woke organization is the next step in how we save this country. And look, our debt is becoming a national security issue. So this just isn't, hey, Andy Ogles is a conservative. Andy Ogles is ranked, quite frankly, the most conservative member of Congress. Ergo, that's why he wants to do this. This is becoming a national security issue. So whether you're woke, whether you're conservative or somewhere in the middle, we can't spend at these levels. So I commend the president, I commend Elon and Vivek for trying to think outside the box and save money for the American taxpayer.
Well, sure. And there are a number of federal buildings that don't even have people in them on a regular basis. You had mentioned they need to get their you-know-whats back in their seats.
That's right. Look, the American worker is going to get up today. They're going to punch a clock. They're going to go to work. They're going to put in their 30, their 40, their 60 hours a week. The federal workers need to come back to work. They need to punch the ticket. They need to do their jobs and not, I'll stop there. You want to work? Great. We want to put you to work. That being said, you got to come to work.
Yeah, what is the definition of work, after all? But
that's right.
I heard that in graduate school. That's where they call it work, not play. Anyway, I digress. President-elect Trump has been super busy the last 2 weeks. He's been ringing the bell at the New York Stock Exchange. He was also named Times Person of the Year for the second time. And he also attended the Army-Navy game last weekend with special guest Marine veteran Daniel Penny. What does President-elect Trump's schedule look like moving forward?
Well, as you just mentioned, the president-elect has been incredibly busy. And quite frankly, just looking at his schedule is exhausting, right? I mean, he's here, he's there, he's everywhere. But look, he's a man of the people. He's out there being seen. He's invigorating. I mean, when he was at the Army-Navy game, the crowd erupted. He took the time to spend, Daniel Penny is a hero. You have someone who engaged a thug on the subway. He was protecting an African-American woman, and they tried him like a terrorist. And so you have President Trump willing to stand up for the average man, the average worker. And that's just who he is. When they tried to kill him there in Pennsylvania, what'd he do? He went back to Pennsylvania. He wasn't going to back down. He's not going to be afraid. He's not going to live in fear. And you know what? The world leaders take note of that. So you now have the United States of America leading from a position of strength again. You have, world leaders like in Russia and like in Ukraine, Hamas, quite frankly, recognizing, oh crap, there's a new sheriff in town.
Absolutely.
We're going to have to get our act together because President Trump is not going to tolerate this. And look, when you talk about Israel, we're going to get those hostages back. And you know what? If we don't get those hostages back, we're going to find out whether or not sand glows in the dark, because we're going to get in there. We're going to get them. We're going to have justice, and enough is enough. Whether it's Haiti, whether it's Africa, whether it's Israel, whether it's Ukraine and Russia, the world's on fire because lack of leadership from the Biden administration. And under Trump, we're going to have strength again.
Yep. And I totally hate to cut you off. And I just want to say, whenever Trump's running around, I want what he has, what he's on, what he's eating, because the man is full of energy. Congressman Andy Ogles, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much.